Chapter 17 of The Adventures of Lightfoot the Deer. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Francis Brown. The Adventures of Lightfoot the Deer. Chapter 17. Sammy Jay arrives. When Reddy the Fox arrived at the pond of Paddy the Beaver, the hunter who was hiding there saw him instantly. So did Lightfoot, but no one else did. He approached in that cautious, careful way that he always uses when he is hunting. The instant he reached a place where he could see all over Paddy's pond, he stopped as suddenly as if he had been turned to stone. He stopped with one foot lifted in the act of taking a step. He had seen Mr. and Mrs. Quack. Now you know there's nothing that Reddy Fox likes better for dinner than a duck. Instantly he saw Mr. and Mrs. Quack. A gleam of longing crept into his eyes, and his mouth began to water. He stood motionless until both Mr. and Mrs. Quack had their heads under water as they searched for food in the mud in the bottom of the pond. Then, like a red flash, he bounded out of sight behind the dam of Paddy the Beaver. Presently, the hunter saw Reddy's black nose at the end of the dam, and Reddy peeped around it to watch Mr. and Mrs. Quack. The latter were moving slowly along in that direction as they fed. Reddy was quick to see this. If he remained right where he was and Mr. and Mrs. Quack kept on feeding in that direction, the chances were that he would have a dinner of fat duck. All that he needed was to be patient and wait. So, with his eyes fixed fast on Mr. and Mrs. Quack, Reddy Fox crouched behind Paddy's dam and waited. Watching Reddy and the ducks, the hunter almost forgot Lightfoot the Deer. Mr. and Mrs. Quack were getting very near to where Reddy was waiting for them. The hunter was tempted to get up and frighten those ducks. He didn't want Reddy Fox to have them, because he hoped someday to get them himself. I suppose, thought he, I was foolish not to shoot them when I had the chance. They're too far away now, and it looks very much as if that red rascal will get one of them. I believe I'll spoil that red scamp's plans by frightening them away. I don't believe that deer will be back here today, so I may as well save those ducks. But the old hunter did nothing of the kind. You see, just as he was getting ready to step out from his hiding place, Sammy Jay arrived. He perched in a tree close to the end of Paddy's dam, and at once he spied Reddy Fox. It didn't take him a second to discover what Reddy was hiding there for. "Thief! Thief! Thief!" screamed Sammy, and then looked down at Reddy with a mischievous look in his sharp eyes. There is nothing Sammy Jay delights more in than upsetting the plans of Reddy Fox. At the sound of Sammy's voice, Mr. and Mrs. Quack swam hurriedly towards the middle of the pond. They knew exactly what the warning meant. Reddy Fox looked up at Sammy Jay and snarled angrily. Then, knowing it was useless to hide longer, he bounded away through the green forest to hunt elsewhere. End of chapter 17. Recording by Francis Brown. www.francisbrown.me